All right. At some point today, probably within the next hour, definitely by 3 o'clock a.m. tonight, a thought is going to arrive in your head. Okay. And it's going to be something that you did not choose. I just want you to know that. You won't build it, you won't even see it coming. But here's I want to get with you on this. And I got some notes here. And what we're going to be talking about, this won't be no chain of something. Oh, it reminded me of that, right? 1 second it won't even exist, and then the next second you're going to be standing in the middle of your thoughts in your mind, like, hey, what's this? And I want you to hear me, because it's going to be fully formed. It's going to be almost like a complete sentence, and it's going to already have emotion attached to it, and it will be speaking in your voice, first person, your accent, your grammar. And I want you to understand something, that this is something that's been done your entire life. And I'm just going to take you on a journey today about some of these things in our head. But at the end of the day, you're going to always, when you hear these things, believe it was yours. Now, today, I'm going to uh, kind of present to you that it wasn't. Okay. And I want you to stick along with me. I'm going to prove to you that, with a little evidence that I have here on my desk today. And I'm going to also challenge your belief, your thoughts, and everything else while we're here together today. Now, keep in mind, uh, before I tell you what this thing is, and I'm going to have to do that, I need to tell you what happened. And I'm going to give you my own personal story. Okay. What happened to me in my own personal life right here at this desk late one night, so that I can kind of, frame it here for you, because it didn't come to me what I'm going to be, talking about today from a book or another guru or anything, or even a seminar to be exactly. But it came the way that I usually come to things when I talk about this channel, like something happened to me or whatever. Kind of take y'all on that particular journey. But anyway, this particular thing that happened, I couldn't explain it away. I was like, okay, it's in my head, it's here, and I refused to stop looking when I started trying to delve deeper. But anyway, before I get to that, let me lay out the whole role of what we're going to be doing today. And this is very important. It's going to be one of the best shows, I think, mentally. I'm going to use that word so that you know exactly what we're doing and what we're here. Because today it's going to be, I'm going to kind of talk to it from my desk here a little bit, but it's going to be almost like, this is my case file, so to speak. But I'm going to show you, talk about everything in order. First, also, I'm going to name the feeling, listen to me closely, that you've had your whole life. And you never said this out loud. A lot of people don't, not even to your spouse if you were married, not to your therapist, maybe not even to yourself in the mirror. Okay, that what we're going to be getting into tonight. And when I say you're going to feel, you're going to be like, damn, where does this come from, or whatever. But anyway, you're going to also feel something that you have not felt before when we get down to this, and it's been in your mind for years. But today you're going to get a little relief from that, because this is very important where we're going. And then I'm going to tell you about the night that this stopped being a feeling for me, because I think it's time to kind of take you all on some of these journeys a little bit, and how it became something else. And so I hope you're ready. I want you to pay a close attention to this. And then at the end of this, I'm going to walk you through three ways that I tried to fight this thing. Okay. And then also the three ways that I lost, because I really did. And then I'll give you a little spoiler alert right now. And have you ever, I want y'all to just kind of be honest with yourself. Have you ever laid around 2 a.m. in the morning, and next thing you know, you win in arguments against your own head, right? You're going against this thing. And of course, if you thought you won, this is another part of this. But again, I want you to know. So let's get right into what we're talking about here a little bit before I get to that. And then I want you to also know tonight, all those three things that I was just telling you about, I'm going to explain that to you. And then I'm going to also give you a little more information on blaming and what's happening. And remember, this is all in our head. So I hope you all are in for this particular journey. And then um, let me just set the foundation. Back long time ago, um, in a clay jar, you probably heard me talk about this. This was back in Egypt in 1945. There was a farmer, and he found this jar, but he didn't want to break it open. Okay, so this is the backstory, and what was inside this jar is going to prove what I'm talking about tonight, because it was a document that was older than the English language, so it's not something that just came before. And somebody ordered this thing to be destroyed. They did not want whatever was in that to be told. They did not want us to know what was happening with this. And I want you to understand, this is the thing that I'm going to be talking to you tonight. It's not, you're not, once you start realizing I'm not, and you're not the first person this stuff happens to. Now, that thing, and I'm going to keep calling it that for now, that I'm going to name tonight, was they named this thing 1600 years ago. And they describe its own tactics, what it does. And also, the people who did it is people we don't even know. They never even existed. So just think about where this is coming from. And once we go there, and at the end, I'm not going to gatekeep anything from you, because I don't do that. But I'm going to actually give you a 5-second test, what I call, that's going to expose these thoughts in a minute when these things arrive. And so it's important that we do that. So let's just get down into our conversation. And like I said, I got all of my notes here and a few things that we're going to be doing. So the first thing in the question is, have there ever been thoughts that you had and you really questioned for a minute, like, where did this come from? Did this come from my head, or where did I get these thoughts? Because that's very important when you do this. And one of the things I want you to understand, we're not talking about these polite thoughts here. Okay. So make sure we separate those two. Not, oh, should I buy some milk? Or, we're talking about the ones that show up uninvited around 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, if you up in most cases, and it knew your name. These things knew your name. And so, and I want you to be honest with yourself, because oftentimes a lot of people don't want to admit that they hear voices or they hear things in their head. And this is, and again, this is going to be up to you to go through this and make the honest part that you are really admitting that these things are out here, and whatever it is. Now, again, you got to be honest. Have this ever happened to you? Put it in a chat. And someone else said most definitely do. Great. It happens in the middle of the night. You wasn't sad. You get what I'm saying? What, you wasn't sad. You wasn't scrolling. You weren't thinking about her. If that was the case, you hadn't think about her in months. If I'm using that, if it was someone I was in a relationship with, and then all of a sudden, there it is. It's fully formed. It's got complete sentences. And here's what the kicker is. It has a mood attached to it, So TK and Devin is over here with me today, but sometimes these things come and it's already constructed. And we need to start figuring out. It's almost like that thought came preloaded. What are you thinking over there, Devin? You know what I'm saying? It's like these things, and they just preloaded with everything.
I've woken up from sometime it's a dream, like a little short dream. I don't know if it's long or short, but it's short when I wake up. And I'm upset about something or someone.
Right.
And I'm like, they've done nothing to me. Why is that?
Okay, we're going to cover that tonight.
And it's a specific person most of the time.
We're going to cover that tonight, because this is the new, not new, but we're going down these journeys. Because, see, you didn't build that thought. Okay, I want you to know that. If you did, you will remember building it, and so to speak. You will remember, like you said, it didn't even happen. You get what I'm saying? So it just arrived already finished, already with an emotion, how I'm supposed to felt about the situation. Okay. And it was like that. It was written somewhere else. And then it was like, it was just delivered to you. Okay. So, but here's the part that a lot of people, especially you in the audience, that people don't really say out loud. Nobody taught you to think it, so to speak, where we're going to go. And in fact, you didn't even sit down and decide it. It just showed up, and it showed up with luggage, with emotional and all these things to it. So here's something I want y'all to know. There's something that you notice about your own mind that you never told anyone. Okay, so right now I'm going to tap into some things that's back here for everyone. All right, and that some of these thoughts that felt sent, you felt the difference. You know, the thoughts that you walked to, and the thoughts that you thought that you walked to, that you never had permission to say it, really, because what happens is it's kind of like, am I crazy, so to speak? That's going to be one of the main things that we get into it. So instead, you did what everybody else do. You signed for the delivery. Now keep that in mind, because that's going to come back here in a moment, and it's something that a journey I've been having and have been really gotten better at, because some of these deliveries you do not want to sign for, and I'm gonna go through that while you were there. So anyway, sometimes we defend our thoughts, and we can sometimes defend thoughts that we never even chose. Um, and so, and for example, you defend some of these things like they were your children, because it's like, oh, it came from me, it must be mine. And so we're going to do it. So today we're going to stop signing that today, and so hopefully y'all all ready for the journey, and these some things. And but anyway, I want you to hold that feeling, because I'm going to tell you the exact day for me that it stopped happening. And so I'm going to get into that, because I can actually point to it, and I think, and I'll show you some of the outcomes and how more things are getting happen in business and things that I'm doing, and pretty much. So again, hope you all are ready for the journey here in what we're going to do. So here's where it gets interesting, because one night, uh, this stopped being a feeling. Okay, so let me kind of take you down this journey for a minute. It was late. And anybody know I've been here all the time. I'm here constantly sitting here at my desk, and I had just finished reading a UFO report. Okay, and nothing about that night should have mattered anyway. It was just a standard thing that I've done. I wasn't upset. Uh, Nothing happened earlier that day. In fact, it was just another case that I was working on. Though one detail in this particular case stuck out, um, that was pretty. All right. So anyway, the experiencer said she heard voices while the object was near her home. I want you to keep that in mind for a minute. And and then a thought arrived. This is what she was telling me at this point. So I'm really trying to choose my words carefully for you, because it didn't occur to me, after I'm reading this stuff, that it didn't build, so to speak, is what I'm trying to say. There was no chain, there was no something reminding of that. It was just like out of nowhere. And then one second, it was like it was there, and then it was gone. And then the next second, it was complete. It was like a whole full sentence. And all of a sudden, it just hit my mind out of nowhere. And it was like, so to speak, it was saying the government is watching you, and stop investigating this report. So I'm like, like Scooby Doo. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in here. Okay, if you've been here at night, it's got tall walls, it's echoing, it's all of those things. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Um, but anyway, it came already with a mood attached to it. I was already feeling a certain way. It landed a little bit with a little fear, like what the fuck, and and but here's the moment that I want to say, because had I not, well, let me back up for that. I'm gonna call it the crack for a minute, just like broken up. And usually, every other time in my life, I would have just became that thought. You know what I'm saying? I would have like, oh, okay, what the hell? What's up? What's about this? Now I'm entertaining it. I'm having a conversation with it. Why is the government don't want me? And it's like you're talking to nobody. When these thoughts come up in our heads, right? And then you end up arguing with your thoughts. Have you ever argued with your thoughts before, TK?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. What about you? Yeah.
Um, I'm not going to say I've argued, but I've contemplated different results.
That can be considered an argument.
No, because that's borderline.
Okay, well, don't get me wrong. I mean,
I'm not going to argue.
We're not sitting there. We're not looking at you from across there and you talking to back and forth. That we've seen people do. But I'm saying, just enough that you signed for it, and enough that you thought and went back and forth, even mentally. You get what I'm saying? And so it could be for 2 seconds. You're gonna say, it don't have to be no long time. And again, I was just standing there and I was like, damn, what just walked in here? You know what I'm saying?
I've been there before. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And it's like, okay. And so those are one of the things that I think about. And I caught a thought arriving. This is what it was good. And I knew I hadn't chosen it. Because right there, I was like, where the hell is coming from? And luckily, and TK is already working on our book club, right? We've been telling everybody to get this book, Nag Hammadi text, scriptures and stuff. And it describes a lot of stuff that happens. And it's by the Gnostics. And just remember, the Gnostics was kind of the original Christianity, so to speak, but it was more, how can I put it? Gnostics mean to know, knowing. Okay, so we'll get back to that. And I noticed what the thought wanted. That was the other part, not just fear. It wanted me to stop looking. You get what I'm saying? It's like, stop looking at, and I was like, why does it want this?
Close.
Okay. And so I didn't have a name for what happened that night. I was like, okay. And I wouldn't have named it for a long time anyway until now, but I couldn't unfill it. You know what I'm saying? It was there. It was like it just arrived, the mail. And the person the mail is addressed to, which was me, so to speak, the message, and they're not the same thing. The mail and who was addressed to was not the same thing. So we're going to go off of that. She said, well, we should start reading in the book. We're going to just, when we go through the book club, we're just going to go through it from the beginning, whatever. She's working, every chapter we're doing. Right?
I'm on every chapter. We're starting from intro all the way up to the 5th chapter, I believe, breaking it down.
Yes, we're going to break it down. And so, and once I seen it arrive, I did what anyone else would do. Okay, so I just want you to know, I tried to fight it, and then I was like, okay, whatever. But let me tell you about the 3 ways that I lost. Okay, because I lost. And before we get to that, August the 1st, for any of you who been around us, we're going to do our first annual community get together. We're going to be where it all started. Really, we're going to go back to the church in the cliff. The Reproductive Justice is the name of the center. TK is the facilitator manager over there, and she handles all those things. And I'm gonna put something up on the InterTruth website for you to register. It's gonna be free. You can make a donation. We're gonna have a grill, barbecue, bring the kids, everybody come out. We're just gonna have a good time. It's gonna be August the 1st on a Saturday. Okay, it is indoor. If it rains, we can be indoors. If it's outside a little bit. And for some of you, if you just walk around and take your shoes off in the grass and walk in the right place, you just might find something that's a little good for you. I don't know. So just come check it out. Check it out. Come with your breathing exercise. You're like, it smells familiar. Come with your breathing exercise. That's all I'm saying. So what do you think? All right.
I believe so.
It's a healthy place. It's a very healthy place. So listen to where we're going to go with this. Devil over there laughing. Yeah. So I'm just letting you know. Just come, take a deep breath. Smell us around. But listen, now let's take you on this journey. Here's where most people go wrong. Because remember, I told you I kind of lost this thing, right? And I want you to know how all 3 things went wrong for me. It all went wrong. And let me give you the order, each one. It was like I was following some type of manual for losing. And at that night here at my desk right here, the deliveries didn't add up. They picked up, so to speak. So you got to remember, something is there, something is happening. And like something I noticed that I didn't really notice, but I noticed. So I was like, this is not reasonable. What is going on? An intelligent person, who's harassing this thing? Who's doing it? Remember, because you got a lot of questions when it comes down to it. I know I did. And I was arguing with it, okay? And I want you to picture this. Let's just go right here in your mind. I want you to picture where I'm going with this. Picture this. I bet you don't have to really picture it, because most of you are going to realize what I'm talking about, because you've been here before, because you're going to know. And again, I'm going to give you the time. It was like 2:14 in the morning, and the lights was off because I let them dim out, and it'd just be my computer desk on. And now all of a sudden, I'm gonna call it the courtroom. This shit was in session now. It got real. And the thought presented in this case was, like, you're gonna fail. I was like, huh? And then it's like, they're watching you, you know, stop looking into this. I'm like, okay, where is this coming from? And then you're not what you think, you know, you're doing here. What's going on here? And I was like, huh, this is interesting. And of course, now it was time to defense everything. You know, I got my evidence, I got the receipts. We're going to this. I can articulate things at 2 a.m. and I'm good at this. But it was very, very smart, whatever this thing was. And so I counted every point. You know, I was like, okay, I win. I actually win. This is the whole point. I construct a whole airtight rebuttal because you're going at this thing. And I'm being transparent with you today because this is the stuff that, you know, we're studying in this book. These are things that are truly happening in this holographic world that we're in. We're walking around every day. And I promise you, if people were to be pretty much honest, there are things that you think every day, and you have to know at some point, this did not come from me. It did not. The key is, where did it come from? So now, here's the whole thing about it is. So I'm again for like 40 minutes because I'm writing this down. Later on, the same thought would come right back into the courtroom. I'm gonna call it my courtroom in here. This is my thing, and this time it starts looking different, but it was the same fucking charges, so to speak, same wording. Stop this, whatever. And once again, I'm stepping up because you know how we got to say, "Oh, get this out of my head. I'm not thinking this, whatever." And we're fighting these things, okay? But here's the deal. Here's what took me. And I'm gonna say embarrassingly, it took me a long time to learn this, or to a long time to see it. Because once you see, you can't unsee it. I just want you to know, I lost every argument that I actually won. I'm thinking I'm winning it. You think you win when you overcome these things or whatever, but it's a whole different thing because arguing with a thought is accepting the same thing. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying, Devin? What do you think? You shaking your head over there? Yeah.
Yeah, you are. If you're arguing with that thought, you're arguing with yourself. You're right. You're accepting whatever the outcome is going to be, because the outcome is already predestined.
It's already there. And so again, I want y'all to go back to that. What I just said. You know, arguing with a thought is accepting what I call the meeting, whatever it was trying to do. You're accepting it, and the moment that I engaged in it, the moment I said that's not true, and here's why, so to speak, and we do this in real life too, okay? And I signed an attendance sheet. I was like, okay, I'm part of the story now. Bring me into this shit. Come on, keep it coming. And it was like, okay, we got him now, y'all. You know what I'm saying? He just accepted the deal, and it doesn't come in agreements the way we think it does.
Exactly. And I used to do a lot of self-help, and I heard this one speaker say that 90 to 95% of all conversations is that individual defending their point of view.
All right. So the moment that I engaged, the moment I said that it's not true, once again, I signed the attendance sheet. I was in the conversation. Okay. And that conversation was never a debate.
Right.
That conversation was a product. It was the product of what was happening. And it didn't need to beat me. It just needed me to be present to draw what we're going to be talking about in a little bit later on. It needed me to get what it needed. Okay. It needed me, what I would call the billing hours for the courtroom. And I'm using this as a scenario or a metaphor. I don't know what's the meaning of hyperbole. I don't know why that just popped up in my freaking mind. But see how words just pop up, and it could don't mean a thing, you know. But anyway, so there we go, right? So here's the deal. So some nights I'll look up and you know, a whole hour will be gone. Because sometimes I used to tell people how I can sit here and dream or you do some stuff. And you're talking 60 minutes. And where I'm going with this is, and I'm going to give you a prelim to where we're going. By time this week, and they'll probably contest to it. I've got more done this week and more things. They're like, damn, because I have eliminated hours of useless, fucking interrupted thought. I know how to stop it now. And I didn't realize how much time. I told someone else. It was like, what? I said, because now I got enough time to focus on other shit. Because you just don't know how much you're spending and why on other thoughts.
And other distractions.
Yeah, it is and it's real, by the way. So we're going to go to that. We're going to go. So you're talking like 60 minutes of my life, right? Spent litigating a thought that I never chose, that I even wanted to take place. It just popped up. And tell me who won that hour. Even though if I sit here and, I'm going to block this out, because you were having a conversation. I'm going to block this out. This ain't my. And who do you think won? Did we find a word?
Yes, a figure of speech that uses extreme, deliberate exaggeration to make a point, add humor, or evoke strong emotion.
See, that was my divine spark. Popped up just then, because it knew it's time to give me a little more better weaponry for the, the theater of the mind that I'm trying to do here. And I could have sworn to you, I would have probably never pronounced hyperbole. If back in the day, y'all would know I would have butchered it like ebonics. It just popped up. So my mind is being free. That's great. Okay, cool. I like this. And so, so where I'm going with this is, if you haven't thought about it, and it's, again, it's not something that I was going through in the first place, but it was a whole hour, and I knew it wasn't me, and I was the only human in the room. Let that stick in for a minute. Y'all hear me? Am I going somewhere with that?
Yes, you are.
I was the only human in the room. Let me just put that over to the side for y'all. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back. I know this is day after church and this shit, and you done got prayed up on, hands and water and stuff laid on you, and now I'm serious talking. But I just want you to know that this is where we're gonna go. So the whole point is, if you ever laying awaking, and I want you to understand, laying up or whatever you want to do, constructing a perfect comeback in your own head. I've done it. We all done it. We've all had conversations that I will have with somebody that I haven't even talked to yet. I already planning what I'm going to say and what they're going to say. And they haven't said it, but we're working on it. Anybody want to contest to that? This is real stuff here.
That's happened to me multiple times. Matter of fact, I just had a dream about a buddy of mine from high school. Haven't talked to him in 3 years.
And having a conversation with him.
I'm telling y'all, reach out to make sure he's okay.
We're gonna get past all this. There is a new sheriff of the mind in town now, starting from this day forward. I just want y'all to know. Nothing will be as it was ever again if you keep watching what we do here. I just want you to know. So I'm talking about you rehearsed the argument in the shower, in the car. We were just talking now, mid conversation with someone you love, why, it's a whole bunch of stuff. And you got to hear this part here, what I'm going to say. And I'll get to some of y'all chats here in a minute. You didn't lose because of the logic was weak. I just want you to understand that. Your logic was probably excellent. The whole part of the conversation, what you were going to say, what they were going to say, was probably perfect, to be exact, at some point. You lost because the logic was the wrong tool. Hear me out now. Okay. And I'm going to use these words because I call it the courtroom. You brought a lawyer to something that doesn't attend court. You know what I'm saying? You became that lawyer. And what we're dealing with, like I said, I was the only human in the room, and that don't deal with the same crap that we see the world. Okay. All right. And it has no address that you're going to go and serve papers to if you wanted to get involved. It doesn't recognize that the verdict. It just keeps coming back at you. You done solve the conversation. You have the same one again. You already know what you're going to say. And then you rewind it because it needs to get better. Okay. So I want you to understand is it doesn't want to win. It wants my attention, and attention is currency for something else. All right. Y'all hear me? It's currency. I just want you to know. And if you think, once again, if you're in the chat, you just kind of, let's go with that. Type A if you're not a lawyer. I just want you to know that. And then if you ever want an argument at 2 a.m. against nobody, yeah, look at that. I just want you to be honest. Then you pass the bar. You know how many times we've done that? You know what I'm saying? It's like at 2 a.m. in the morning, ain't nobody there. We done solve these conversations. People. I fired my damn lawyer today. I just want you to know, and I hired a contractor. That's my metaphor or hyperbole or whatever we want to use.
Tell me if I'm correct.
Yes.
Because I heard this decades ago.
Yeah.
And it's happened to me and I never responded. If you hear someone call your name or start a conversation with you, like never say never, but you never respond. Never. And so I've never responded. So I guess I was correct because they never got my attention. You never respond.
I mean, yeah, we don't want to be seen talking to nothing. You know what I'm saying?
No, not that. You just go across the board. You just never respond to an entity that calls your name, starts a conversation. Because I physically heard it, verbally heard it, wide awake or in dream state.
Well,
you just never respond.
I fired that lawyer, so I just want you to know, because that's only half the story too. So let me take y'all a little more, because you got to understand, when the argument fails, everybody, I want you to know, everybody reach for the same second weapon that I'm about to talk to you about right now. And that's willpower, the wall. I decided I will simply not have the thoughts, right? I was like, I'm not gonna have the thoughts. I'm sure everybody in this room that's listening to my voice have said that. Oh, I'm just not gonna have the thought. And that's the thought shows up anyway. Then you're like, okay, the door slammed. Then we're not talking again. No meeting room, no courtroom, no attention, just brute force. No, it just pops up and you say no. This is crazy though. So I treated my own mind like it was some type of damn nightclub, appointing myself as the bouncer. Every time a thought comes, you throw that shit out the door. I used to have this visualization, change the tape, the dumbest shit. But I used to think it worked. Like, I will visualize myself with a VCR tape and I would just change it. People, this rudimentary shit or rudimentary stuff that we're being taught out here, I think it was part of the plan. And there's a lot of spiritual people teaching us stuff that is still working for the other side.
I agree with that.
You agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and it's time to start calling these people out and things. Yeah, it's getting ready to get nasty going forward. I just want y'all to know, enough is enough. Okay. And where I'm going with this is, you can visualize the whole velvet rope, the list of banned thoughts. You're not getting in tonight. We just go through this whole gamut all the time. And I want you to know, for about 4 hours at a time, I was a great bouncer. So I started documenting when these thoughts come on my phone, how long I'm dealing with them. And I noticed last week or 2 weeks ago, I spent 4+ hours within a 24-hour span dealing with some shit that I wasn't even mine. People, that was because I was tracking it. It could have been 8 hours in a full day. And then a whole week, 8 times 7 is 56 hours of time. Hell, let me get a little more magnitude for you. Let me get my calculator out. So how many hours in a day is how many?
24.
24. So 56 hours. And it's how many minutes an hour?
60.
60. And we're talking for a week. And time 60. That's about 200,000 seconds. That's a lot of fucking time. That's a lot of time. Almost 1 million seconds a month that we're sitting here thinking and fighting and going back and forth with things that we could be doing something productive that you placed into your projection. We're going to get to that. I just want you to know. So, like I said, I'm like a bouncer. But here's the deal. Here's the thing about the door policy. To keep a thought out when you're trying to think you're going to bounce, you have to check every arrival against its own description. You can't have no blanket, oh, I'm going to just change the thought anymore that they've been teaching us out there. This is why these people working for the other side don't even know it too. Everything is specific because I'll reveal that later. I'm going to reveal that later. So all I'm saying is, which means for me and you and everybody else, you got to hold this description of what's happening in your hand. And we're talking all night, people. You got to be ready for this. You have to keep looking at the picture of the thing you're refusing to look at. We got to face this stuff. But I'll get to that in a few minutes. And the other part of this, and this part here isn't my opinion that I'm going to get into next, is one that is confirmed. This is on record. You know, psychologists have run this experiment that I'm getting ready to tell you about it here on my notes for quite some time. And they've done it for decades. They sit people down and give them instructions, and they'll say, for the next 5 minutes, do not think about a white bear, and that's it. That's the whole task. And you know what happened?
They thought about the white bear.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Are y'all following me today? Y'all get anything out of this? Because we still got a little ways to go, and it's getting ready to get better. Okay. Let me know. Just give me some affirmation down there in the chat. But you get what I'm saying? They tell y'all that don't think of a white bear, and your ass is thinking of fucking white bear.
That's like when my daughter dated this guy that I did not like because for whatever reason,
right.
I never told her that I didn't like him. I'm like, you know what? I think you have better choices. But as soon as you say, I don't want you dating that guy anymore,
any kind of way you say it is where it is.
It's a magnet to that guy.
Yeah. It's the same thing. So the whole task, nobody could do it, right? And we're talking worse than that. The people told not to think about the bear, like we've just said, end up thinking about it more than people who were never told anything, right? So the suppression itself became the delivery route, is where I'm going with this. And here's the deal: the don't stop. It's the don't stop it. It's a doorbell. And I want you to try right now. Everyone in the chat, you do not, I'm just saying, just try something. Do not, and I mean do not, think about a white bear. And I'll just wait for a minute. I want y'all right now, everybody in the chat. Everybody blank out. Don't think about a white bear. Let's just try that.
R&D already responded.
You know what I'm saying? Just think about it. Don't think of a white bear right there. You know, everybody. Let's just see where we go with this. And I'm just gonna read the chat. I'm gonna read the chat. Just and be transparent here today, if you can. But don't think of a white bear. and so I want you to, so here's what's happening here. Every brick I laid had his name written on it. I just want you to know. Okay. I wasn't keeping the thing out. I was building like it was a monument or something. Every time I'm trying to block this thing, and it came back harder, louder, more worse times. And you know what I end up concluding at this point? I was like, okay, this is something. I was concluding that I was the problem. That, oh, Roderick, you're not meditating hard enough. You weak. You know what I'm saying? That a stronger person, a more disciplined person can do this. All these people that's teaching us these things, you know, you're thinking, oh man, I must not be whatever, you know. And we have to understand, and I won't get to that. And if you ever concluded that about yourself, I just want you to be honest, because I'm telling you my transparency too, in much as I do what I do, that your intrusive thoughts, those spirals, that 3 a.m. deliveries keep coming because you, and I don't want you to think that you wasn't strong enough, because that's not it. I'm going to stop this whole show, and I want to say something directly to you. And I wrote this down here on my little notes here. You did not fail blocking at this. And again, this is something you grow into. Blocking fails at everything. Just, I want you to know. You know what I'm saying? It just really does. It has a 100% failure rate across all human history.
Hmm.
It always has. Suppression isn't a wall. It's a payment plan. It's the way that it goes. You never refuse the delivery. You just pay storage for it. It's like it's not. It don't just disappear, and it come back with interest. By the way, because this thing is there and it adds up and it begins. And I'm telling you, and you carry this thing. And I used to do it like it was some kind of character flaw. Oh, I got to get more spiritual. Or I got to get more. I got to, and it never was, because there's something at higher at work here that we're going to be talking about here. There's some shit that has been before we even got here, before we even was well, the few times that you were reincarnated here was playing the game. I'm just letting you know. And this keeps going, and it keeps going. And I'm going to show you the whole thing, and I'm going to give you everything that we need to go. Okay. So the whole point here, it's a rigged game, people. It always been. David Icke talks about it. A lot of people tell us this whole thing's been rigged since we got here. All of it. And you were graded on it anyway. We try to hold ourselves in a lower image, I should say, based on a rigged game. And how many people do that every day now?
Every day. We're spiritual beings having a human experience, but they're spiritual beings having a dimensional or 5D experience. So you're going to lose 100% of the time.
Once again, I just want you to know, every time you push against what we're talking about, and I'm going to reveal this to you in a minute, you're feeding it.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to know you're literally feeding it. And remember, I said earlier, I was the only human in the room. Keep that in mind. So let me give you clue number 2. I just went through the first one. And if you notice, clue 1, it wanted attention. So if y'all following along with me, we're getting ready to go on this next part. Clue 2, resistance is attention. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. It eats with both hands. It's going to go either way. It's like what the elites do now. They don't care about who wins the war
Or the election.
or whatever. They just need the chaos in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
They fund both sides. The same people who fund one side funds the other side. They just need it to go. They just need it to happen. So I want you to type, if you've been paying attention, type the letter B if you're that wall that I'm just talking about. If you ever, maybe I use the word white knuckle your mind, and you call it yourself weak. How many of us done that? Because I need you to be transparent. That you called yourself weak. You thought it was broke because you couldn't block something out. Y'all with me? Let me know. I just want you to know. Just come on and put with me. And I want you to know that everybody's forgiven right now, because I'm getting ready to tell you it was a rigged game. It was rigged. And I want you to know that whatever that is, just cancel it out, because that shit is canceled. That debt is canceled, because now we're getting ready to move forward. It was a rigged game, people. You don't have to worry about sitting here saying, oh man, something must be wrong. I can't block this out. That game is rigged, and it's been rigged. So like I told you the first thing, like I told you, this whole courtroom, so the lawyer was fired, and I got the wall to come down, and there was one weapon left that I'm getting ready to give to you. And this one kind of almost worked. Okay. So let's get into that pretty much from there. This one kind of almost worked, but everybody kind of do it. Okay. I just want to keep going. Everybody kind of do this. This one is, how people tell you to drown it? Just drown it out. You ever heard that, TK? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
People, here where it gets fucking dangerous. because of failures A and B that I just went through. We got a super sticker. Let's go and put that up on the board from Elizabeth Love. Thank you for the super sticker. And I did see someone compliment me on my hair today. Thank you. I should have said something to you too. A and B announced themselves because you know it's coming, but the C part that I'm getting ready to give you, this one don't. This one feel like it's working. And let me break it down for you. If I can't argue it out, okay, and this is what I usually would do. And if I can't try to just keep fighting this thing, I'll just volume it out. We'll be like, okay, let's just drown it out. And we can, put that on music or whatever you want to do. I will simply just never be quiet enough for anything to write. You just start finding something else to do. Some people tell you, go find something else to do. Just drown it out. They tell you, a lot of people do it. And I will simply never be quiet enough because I'm moving around. I'm doing other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But let me go here and let me inventory my life for you in that season, because I want you to check this against yourself. Okay. So alarm goes off. Phone is in my hand before my eyes even fully open. Shit, I ain't lying. I'd be laying in the bed at the first. I hold my phone and correct my vision before I even get out of the bed to try to see what's on my fucking phone.
I refuse to do that.
Okay. I'm doing podcasting in the morning from some orange juice. I got music in the shower. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just, I put the phone right there. Waterproof phone is waterproof, so I don't mind it getting wet and it's playing. I'm serious, and I got my little audio books in the fucking car going. I know I ain't the only one. I got screens at my desk. People, I got 4 fucking screens here. 1, right? 2, 3, and 4.
And the big one, don't forget
and
the
a
big
big
one.
60-inch, 70-inch, 75 over there. 5 screens in here. All right. I have lunch with a video. I'm eating lunch while a video is playing. I skipped the gym. So I skipped the gym. But I do need to be going there because I got headphones for the gym. I got some headphones over there. Okay. And obviously, every now and then, you got, and if I was at home, you cooking, you got TV on in the other room, all of this stuff. Not even watching it. The TV watching me. How many of us at home and the TV watching you?
Every night I watch TV till it starts watching me.
You get what I'm saying? It's watching you. You're not even watching it. And then the bed comes with one last scroll. And I know you can admit to this because he said he did now. One last scroll. We go through the phone for the very last thing before being unconscious. We go through our phones before we lay that bitch down. Don't you?
I do.
You get what I'm saying? It's crazy. Mm-hmm. And where I'm going with this is that can y'all understand what I'm talking about? Let me know in the chat. You get what I'm talking about, what I built. We're talking wall-to-wall sound. I got distractions everywhere. Everywhere. I got I have a life, literally, it had no gaps in it. No damn gaps. I didn't want any.
So you couldn't go to the forest and just relax for 3 days.
No fucking gaps, dude. You know what I'm saying? And I had a sound. I actually literally have soundproofed my existence from the inside. Don't let it affect me. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it, you strong. Just everything is soundproof. Nothing. But now here's the confession: it worked at the time. The delivery stopped as long as the noise didn't get in. I'm gonna go with that for a minute. But that's what I was doing. What makes this the most dangerous failure out of all 3 things I've been talking about all day. That's the whole point. It was the most dangerous failure, y'all, out of the whole night. Not the whole night, but the whole process. And when you think about what I mentioned before, the intention, the other stuff, and now we're talking about drowning it out, it just, the drown out just kind of pay. It's kind of the thing that just keeps this stuff doubling down. I wasn't at peace. You get what I'm saying? I was out running something though. You know what I'm saying? I'm being elusive. I got good enough at running that I could pretend it was peace. Because a lot of us do that. We think it's peace because you done drown some shit out. And see, and make sure I'm saying what I'm saying to y'all, because half of you ain't gonna admit what I just said. We have so much shit distracted that we're thinking it's peace because you're not dealing with something else, but we don't replaced it. It's not peace.
You've learned to become acclimated to that
Yeah.
stimulus.
It's like there was a time in my life that I was struggling a habit because I was getting so much accolades of people saying, Roderick, you're doing such a good job. You're a go-getter. You're always doing something. That when I started doing something and it got smooth, I will fuck up and go do something else to start something else because I'm kept trying to make the struggling a habit, because the go-getter part, not reaping awards when it's smooth, because you always got to be on the grind. Anyway,
I know some people like that.
That's another story, y'all. That's another story.
At least you're man enough to admit it.
Yeah. So, and again, I call it the mail. The mail doesn't stop because you're not at home, or, you got to remember, it still piles up outside the door. You can go on vacation for 2 weeks. The mail don't stop. You come home, they just done piled that shit up. It's waiting at the door. And then comes the moment the noise can't reach. Okay, let's get to this. See, the shower, when the speaker dies, when the drive on the phone slips, you got to understand, and the phone slips under the seat while I'm driving. And then we're talking about the 3 a.m. stuff. Wake up when the house is silent and the charges across the room. And that's when the unguarded gap happens. See, everything that had been piling up across, it now has this little, what I consider a slot. We're talking weeks of it, because now this stuff is adding up on us, okay? Once we do that. Okay, so this is why I felt a little dangerous. I just want you to know what I call the quiet. Because that's why silence had start feeling like a threat, because now you built all these things in it. And a lot of people are dealing with this, by the way, not because silence contains something evil, because silence is where the backlog clears. This is where all the extra stuff is sitting there, because we're not addressing it properly when it comes down to it. So we're talking about recognition here, but now let's I'm gonna reach for a minute for you all. Okay, so you just got to remember, the first second of stillness is in an elevator when you start thinking about this. So just start thinking about this a little bit. A waiting room, a red light, hands already moving toward the phone. You got to remember, you come to the elevator, you come to the red light. How many people stop at the red light in the car and reach for the fucking phone? You done it, right?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I should be connecting with everybody today on this. I should be connecting with everybody. All right.
And then the light turns green and people behind you are blowing.
And it's not even a decision anymore. It's like a fucking reflex.
Yeah.
Shit we're doing now is on autopilot. You get what I'm saying? It's on autopilot. And then these are the people that I'm saying, if you are being transparent today, these are the same people who say, oh, I'm in this Zen mode. You reach for that phone at the damn stoplights. If you're in an elevator, or if you're doing something, you're in a waiting room at the hospital, you pick up the fucking phones and you start going through it. You can see it everywhere we go. Hell, you got people in the living room. The kids are on the phone, the father's on the phone, mother on the phone, and they're watching a movie together. But everybody got their phones in their hand.
And the kids are texting each other and they're 5 feet apart.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm not judging anybody, because I'm telling you, I'm just describing you, me, and millions of other people, because I was that. And I'm saying it's done now. I was that. And my reach was probably faster than yours. Shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm picking my shit fast. I'm on the move. And everyone will tell you, we try to see it all the time. It's an addiction to the phone, to the feed, to the noise. But I want you to look closer to what we're about to say. You're not addicted to the fucking noise. You're hiding from the mail. And the mail that we were talking about earlier, we're going to get into it. Someone said, yes, I'm here listening to you on my iPad, playing a game on my phone, practicing stock trading on my laptop. So I definitely get it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about, right? We doing it, man. We're doing it. So the clue number 3 that I wanted to do is what I call the full board. And I want to understand what's going on. And the noise, if you thought just like I thought, okay, if you want to admit it, just kind of put a letter C in if you thought the noise was the weapon. If you thought drowning stuff out, getting stuff, maybe I'm doing this, maybe I just need to get out, maybe I need to go do this, or let me just take my mind off of it and go sleep with Ted. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? How many of you, put me some C's. And you can skip the sleep part, it may not be you. Don't let that define the answer. Okay. I'm just saying. So 3 weapons, 3 losses, the lawyer, the wall, the noise that I've been talking about. And I want you to notice something about all 3, something that took me the longest time to really see, because I was just too busy, man, studying my own defeats. I'm trying to figure this out. You're trying to do this. You're trying to do that. All 3 failures, they had the same shape. Every single one of them was an answer to one freaking question. Everything you do, everything I was doing, everything was to one question. You want to know what that question is? I'm glad you asked. I'm just glad y'all asked. It's, how do I stop the thoughts? I think everybody addressed that question all the time. Mm-hmm. If they're transparent with themselves, they address the question, how do I stop the thoughts? How do I argue with them? How do I block them? I'm gonna use other terminology here. How do I drown them out? How do I do this? And that was the wrong question that I'm trying to tell you. Because in other words, I burnt this thing for years and still was productive at some point. So imagine where we're going to be going in the next month and year from now, and having to recognize what this stuff is. But I want you to know what the losses taught me. Because it didn't want me to win. I just want you to know that. It's not going to want you to win. It wants your attention. The thing that we're going to be discussing wants your attention. It grows when you push against it. And this thing waits patiently. It's got all eternity. Mm-hmm. We got this time, but it got eternity. And it does it lifetime after lifetime. Every time you're reincarnated, it brings you right back in it.
Mm-hmm. And multiply that by billions of people on the planet.
Yeah. But see, when you leave this time, my preparation for all of us for the next years to come is to get you to know who and what you are. Okay? And when you find out what you are, it all ends. You find out what you are. And I'm using the word what, because you're not just a human being. We got that's surface. That is you're a soul, but when you find out what you are, I just want you to know. So it waits, and when I tell you about it, we're talking about attention, we're talking feeding and patience, and that's not noise, people. That's a random misfire. It's not a glitch. It's not a chemical hiccup that just happens to run on these tactics. It's what we're going to call behavior. Okay, I want you to know this behavior. And the day I saw this behavior, the question changed all by itself. You remember I said to y'all the other day, we got to get out, and I'm going to make some shirts. Instead of us sitting here talking about seeing is believing, we all run that story. Mm-hmm. From now on, believing is seeing for us. Y'all catch that by the time we get off the show. And the day I saw it, and now I'm just letting you know, And now it's like, how do you stop these thoughts and what keeps sending them? See, now it's like, who and what is sending these fucking things? This is where we got to go with this. And here's the thing I found out that I can't get over when I started going down this road. And I wasn't the first person to ask the question, not by a very long shot. Y'all, you got to believe there's a lot of people sitting around asking those particular questions. But I will tell you, a very long time ago, somebody asked it a long time ago, and somebody answered it, and somebody wrote the answer down. Just want you to know, there was someone in this world that was asking these questions, and somebody connected with something else and got the freaking answer, and they wrote it down. And right after this, I'm going to pull that name and I'm going to share it with you here so that we can keep going down to that. Because I want you to know what happens to it in the moment that we name it. We're going to name this thing. So let me know if y'all ready for that. And keep in mind, we have a great show here today. You know, I'll tell you about our sponsors in a little bit here. But you got to stick around because we're going to go deep into this. And so let's get it. Let me name this for you because I think we're here at this moment. And what do you think before we go any further, y'all?
Yes, we want to hear the name and the answer.
What about you over there, TK?
Most definitely so. I just feel like this has been a cliffhanger because I'm just patiently waiting for the name too.
So
Okay.
Just waiting.
All right. Okay. Before I answer the question, y'all, I want you to know who keeps sending these things. I'm gonna do something different here. I don't want to tell you a theory at all. Theories are a little cheap. I just want you to know. You didn't come here for mine. We're gonna go deeper here. Instead, I'm gonna take you somewhere. Okay. So let's go there. And the only thing that you have to do is be honest with yourself while you're there. Okay. If you can agree to that, put in the chat, ready. Okay. All right. I want to take you somewhere. Y'all ready? Everybody ready? Just put it in the chat. See, I got my glasses on today. I wrote all this stuff out for y'all. I just want y'all to know. But I'm going to take y'all there. Okay. And I'm serious. I'm serious about what we're about to do. Okay. So I want you to close your eyes if you want to. Y'all can do this. In the chat, it can wait. So y'all wait. I just want you to close your eyes. And I want you to think about right now, tonight, and think about later tonight as this stream ends, as we get out of this stream. I want you to think that as I paint this picture, you done brush your teeth. You done checked all the locks in the house. You know, you're lying in the bed, you know, if that's what it is. The house has gone through that shift that houses do at night. Everything is done kind of changed. The energy is done settled down. The refrigerator's humming a little bit, and you never noticed that. And we have the settling sounds. You know, because the house, a lot of people, the house, we just shut it down. Somehow you can shut your house down for the night. Your body is tired. Okay. Your day is done. You're already done. There's nothing left to do. There's nothing left to solve. And for the first time in about 16 hours, it's quiet now. I just want y'all to keep your eyes closed if you can. If you're driving, don't do that. Okay.
please don't.
And then all of a sudden, it arrives. Dun, 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 dun. It arrives. And maybe tonight is the replay. This is what I'm going to say. That thing you said in the meeting 3 years ago, I'm just telling you, that nobody else can remember, delivered to you again. It's in full fucking color, like it happened this afternoon. It could be some sex you had with somebody. It could be whatever. It just pops up out of nowhere. You just, boom. It could be something that somebody did to you. Just, boom, just shows up. It just shows up. And it's delivered to you again, like I said, in full color, like it happened this afternoon. It's like vivid as that can be. And maybe it's the face. Maybe it's the person that you don't even talk to anymore. And the sentence, you should reach out. And all I'm saying, it's going to come out. It's going to be like, no, it's too late. We're going to be saying all these things to ourselves. No, too much time has passed. It's all this kind of crazy stuff. But maybe it's what I call the ledger. The ledger that one keeps open up, start reading your accounts out loud because something else is doing this. And what you should know by now, and whatever else, no matter what age you are, this is something we should have figured out already. Okay, I just want you to know this is something we should figure it out, and let's get down into this whole point. Now, I want you to freeze everything right there as we continue to go forward, because I want you to freeze the whole scene, because I'm going to walk you around it with you. You hear what I just said? We're going to walk around it. We're going to look at some things here, things that you never had permission to look at because it just somehow it wasn't designed that way, because you were always inside the thought. You get where I'm going now when it happened. But today, you're going to stand on the outside. And I can use another word. We're going to become observers. We're going to become. So you're going to step outside of it this time. And I want you to look at the first thing. And that is, you didn't call for this. Or what that old girl used to say, ain't nobody got time for this. You know what I'm saying? You didn't call for that. Just think about it. You did not call for it to show up. Who did? What did? Why did it? Why did it? Because if you can stand there and say to yourself, this is not for my highest good, what is happening right now, what I see, not what I'm thinking, but what I see, then you gain the power. We're going to get back to that, though. So go back 1 minute before it arrived, okay? And when you were thinking about that meeting, because, you wasn't thinking about it, or were you thinking about that person, or whatever it was, where you were listening to the refrigerator. You want to go back to those thoughts. There was no change then. There was nothing happening then. This, whatever it was, didn't lead to that. Whatever you were shutting down, whatever you were doing, didn't lead to the thought and things that popped up. It didn't grow out of anything. It didn't. It just came. It didn't. It just entered. Y'all get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We ain't shutting the house down to then all of a sudden to be popping up to what came in our mind. That didn't set that in motion. I'm telling you, this shit just pops up fully formed, ready to go. Okay. It just entered. It was fully formed, complete sentences. It was like it was just composed somewhere else, sealed, addressed to you, and then they just slid it under the door. Think about this. Here, it's yours. Think about it. Someone said, wow, I just had a moment. Sure, I didn't even call that thought. Now we're getting somewhere. And I'm going to give you a solution to this, Latoya, in a minute, because this happens to everybody. It's time for us to understand these things. It's time for us to understand. And the good part about this is when you look at the second thing, it knew exactly where to cut. If you think about it, you could have went to a whole experience that day with whatever that was. Mm-hmm. But somehow, when it slid that thought in, it knew exactly what part to put there, which was probably emotional, by the way. Mm-hmm. Are y'all with me? You know what I'm saying? You ain't thinking about the whole day before. How did we get to the argument? It's right there. Boom. It replays it again. Booyah. Out of every moment of your life, it picked the one that still moves you.
Some type of emotional connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it picked the one that still moves you. That's exactly what it did. It skipped everything else. It skipped everything you were healed from. You know what I mean? No return on investment. It went straight for the live nerve. And it knows which memories still have blood in them. That's the point I'm making. It has your files. It's been reading your mail the whole life, and it's perfectly does what it does. If y'all get where I'm going with this. So I want you to look at this third thing, and this is the one thing that changes everything. So I want you to slow everything down with me. Here we go. So listen to the grammar is what I would call it. The thought didn't say you're a failure. You got to remember it did it. No, it didn't say listen again. It said I'm a failure. Ha. Listen to the words. I. It said I should have reached out. I never get there. Oh, it speaks in the first person every time. And it wears your voice when it starts speaking. When it starts saying I and all it sounds like you and me. But what if you of the saying it from the outside? It doesn't sound like you anymore. Just keep that with y'all. It sounds like you so that you will accept it again and come in agreement with the thought again. Because we all believe in who? Ourselves. But what if, again, like the thing said, where did the thought come from? What if you didn't choose it? And so I want you to think about what that means. Because if a stranger, think about it right now, Devin. If a stranger walked up to you on the street and said the things that the voice said to you, you'll fucking walk away. Imagine that. Mm-hmm. Imagine a stranger walked up to you, Devin, and said, you're not tall enough. But you say it. It's a different story. You'd be like, no, fuck you. I'm tall. Let me go get my ball. I'm going to slam on you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We'll prove the point. But when our own voice tells us, it's more believable, acceptable, in the whole 9 yards. Because our voice, if the observer will say it, the observer will say, tall enough for what? Now it changes everything. You could be tall enough to jump over a 1 foot mountain. You get what I'm saying, right? Or whatever. It's that other thing that gets us to think elsewhere. So y'all keep that in mind. Because you got to be like, for what? So remember I said yesterday or Friday when the spiritual people teaching us, oh, I have to go protect my energy. I used to do it too. Instead of trying to fight against to protect your energy, you got to find out and step outside and say, because you're looking at this thing, which is you, why do you need that energy protection for? Why? Why does this person need this energy protection? And then you're going to get a whole different answer versus taking the identity of all of that. That's where I'm going with this. So, in fact, you may even swing up on one of these strangers if they do that. You'll probably like knock them out. But the whole point is you will never accept it. It does not. So if it doesn't come from a stranger or as a stranger, it comes wearing your face. It comes speaking to you in your same accents. It sounds like you, because forgery only clears if the signature matches. Remember that in law enforcement, different things. That's the whole point. So I want you to look at the fourth thing and check out what this is selling. Every delivery, every single one is stocked from the same 4 shelves: fear, urgency, comparison, and lack. Y'all remember that. That's the whole store. And there's never once. So I want you to check on this your entire life. It has never arrived, or once have it arrived at 3 a.m. to say, you know what? You handled that well. We ain't never got them fucking thoughts at 3 a.m. in the morning.
That's the bewitching hour.
There we go. We own something there. And it never showed up unannounced to tell you that you're loved, that you're on time, that you have enough. Not once. Now, what kind of voice only carries bad news? What kind of mail is only ever bills? You get what I'm saying? And so after the fifth thing, I want you to check his timing. He was just saying, not the silence, check the calendar. What is the loudest? And right before the leap, anything you're about to do, the night before the interview, the week you finally got the thing, wherever you're working on, the moment you get closer to something true. Remember, he was saying it when I first started, when it said stop looking at these files, right? Mm-hmm. And mine showed up that night. I sat at the desk and I was getting close to a question. And what did it say? It didn't say you're worthless. It said stop investigating. It wanted the search ended. It wanted me to stop doing what I was doing. And think about that. Of everything it could have wanted from me, it wanted me to stop looking. And why would a random misfire care about what I was looking into? All right, so let's open your eyes if you, by this time, if you ain't sleep. I seen 10 people drop off. Shit, they probably fell asleep on us. Because here's where we are now. Okay, I just want you to know. Here's the 3 clues from what we're talking about. And I'm just going to tell you, and let me read it to you from here. There's something that speaks in your mind that is not you. Okay, I want you to know that. It arrives uninvited into silence and is fully formed. Okay, it knows your history. It aims for your nerves. And it says, I'll sign for the delivery. It's not really you. Remember, the deliveries was a metaphor of the things that come. It sells only fear, urgency, comparison, and lack when it does this. It always rushes, and it's a real thing. It never, again, it just, it gets the loudest at the threshold. It's the quietest when you give up. You got to remember, it wants your attention. It feeds your resistance. It wants your silence. It sounds exactly like you, and it's not you. And before you ask me to prove the last line that it's not you, you've already proved it. Okay, I just want you to know, the moment you stood outside that frozen scene that I was talking about and looked at your thought, who was looking? That was the whole thing I was doing. When I got people to stand out and look at it, now you know it wasn't you. Y'all with me? Y'all with me on that in the chat? Y'all let me know.
So basically, what you're saying is whatever this entity or thing is, it can tap into your individual Akashic or book of life and spit something back out to you that's very emotional to you.
And it already knows, and it knows how to use word I, and I is an identifier. It makes it individual. It makes it connect to you because it sounds like us. Yeah, it sounds like us. So, like I said before, the moment you looked outside, you looked at your thoughts, and you cannot watch your own voice arrive. Okay, that's the whole point. The watcher and the voice cannot be the same thing. That's what we have to know. It's impossible. You've known this your whole life. A lot of us have. You just never said it out loud because saying it felt crazy. Y'all get me? The watcher, and I'll say it again, you cannot watch your own voice. Try it. It's not happening like that. Okay? And I'm telling you tonight with a straight face, as I'm looking right here to everyone, you were never crazy. It was one of the sanest things that you ever noticed. So it behaves, what we're talking about, we've watched it behave, then it can be studied. Think about it. If it does things the way it does, repeatedly, or patterns, we're going to use the word patterns. If it has a pattern, it can be studied, people. And if it can be studied, it can be described. And anything that can be described can be named. And that's what I'm getting ready to do. Yes, baby. I just want you to know that pattern, it can. Mm-hmm. It can. I just want you to know. And it needs a name. Why? It needs one because here's the rule that I learned the hardest way possible. Whatever operates on you unnamed operates unopposed. Okay? This is for real. For every year, whatever it is stays nameless, it signs my name. Anything that names that's nameless, you accept it as I. Y'all with me now? Y'all with me in the chat? Okay. And just think about it. It's running up charges on your fucking account. You know what I'm saying? Made decisions in your voice and ended searches that in things that you never agree. So now that is now. So let's get down into it. For me, it ended a while ago, and for some of you, it's going to end in the next 10 seconds. Okay. And it was in here where I started discovering. I read this thing 3 times in a month. And it was the most profound stuff that I started coming up with. Okay. It's in here. Y'all ready? It's called, the name is the counterfeit voice. Mm-hmm. The Gnostics been talking about it from day one. You remember that yet? You got to there yet, TK? The counterfeit voice? Okay. It's not your voice. It's the counterfeit of your voice. It's a copy. It's a forgery. And it's close enough to pass for as long as it stays in the dark, is what I'm trying to tell you. And I want you to understand where we're going to go with here. It sounds weird. I know it does. Someone says, I love the show and I love the jacket. All right. This is my Tuskegee Airman jacket. Let me turn around so you can see it. I don't know if y'all can see it in the back. Can y'all see it? Can they see it?
Yes.
My Tuskegee Airman jacket. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So we're talking about the counterfeit voice. You carried this thing your whole life, and it felt big. And I'm telling you, it felt like you. You think about it, the whole 9 yards. So, but here's the deal. And some of you are feeling something right now because you should be, because I made sure I articulated this whole story tonight. All right. And hopefully that it felt that you understand where we're going with this. And the next question is, we're going to get into this. It's probably, I would say it's pretty urgent what we're going to do. And the whole point is, it's going to be how long? How long has this been running? How far back in my life does it go? Okay, so that's the main questions that you want to go to. And some of you are feeling right now, and you kind of know exactly what I'm talking about because, like, again, I felt it tonight, and when I first said the name. And the next questions that we're going to get to it is, it's arriving. It's already arriving, probably in the first person. And you got to remember what I'm talking about is you got to think about the urgency of this. How long it's been running. So I want you to stay right there for a minute, because the answer that we're getting ready to get to goes way further back than your life. This is why I tell you the game was rigged. It's further than your grandmother's life. When I went looking for how long people have known about this voice, and I found the book that we're talking about here, and the buried book, it was buried on purpose. It was hidden in a jar that they was talking about in the ground over 1,500 years. And yeah, when I opened it and I started reading through, I found the name and I just wrote it on my paper. I was like, whoa. And I've mentioned it a couple of times in the live stream last week. Okay. When we were going through this, you know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm talking about, right? And it was already in it. So I didn't discover the counterfeit voice, y'all. I rediscovered it. How about that? I didn't discover it. I rediscovered it. And make sure I'm using this word properly to you. Remember I said we got to stop becoming, and we have to know what we are. So I didn't discover it. I rediscovered it, because obviously I already knew, but whatever the situation is, did a good job for us to come back here every time we come back here to not remember what we are. We just keep coming over to be who each time, but we forget what we are. All right. Something described everything we just walked through, and they described it. The arrival, they described the forgery, they described the 4 shells that I was just telling you about. And we're talking before English existed, and it was something else. But I need you to hear what's after that, because it's the reason we're actually here this whole time. So I'm going to get to it. And the name of the book is the Nag Hammadi Scriptures. You can get it on Amazon. It is really good, by the way. Really freaking good. Okay? Really good. But let me hold up on the screen there. I think you can see that. There you go. Well, it's a little blurry, but you should be able to see the title. If y'all part of our Patreon, we're going to be doing a book club with this real soon, because this is the time that we're going to do this. Now, at the top of the stream, when I first started, I made you a promise. I said we're going to stop signing, and I haven't I haven't paid the promise to you yet. I just want you to know. So here's my word. So before the stream ends, I'm going to hand you the exact practice that I use. Okay, that I use now. Takes 10 minutes. Costs you nothing. There's no app. There's no courses. There's no guru. There's nothing to buy. And there's the 5-second test inside that exposes what I call the counterfeit thought, the moment that it arrives. Okay, we're going to go there. And once you have this test, and you cannot forge it again, it won't be able to do this to you again, at least without you knowing it, because that's the whole thing. So that's the road. The first book right here, Proof That You're Not Crazy. We're going to be talking about it, then the test. So if y'all ready to go through that, I will get that ready. If we've been here too long, we can go. Y'all tell me right now, because otherwise we got another 20 minutes. I can end it right now, or I can go ahead and now we're going to dig deep. I need at least 10 or 15 people to let me know to keep going. Because, yeah. Y'all let me know. I need at least 10 in that chat. Tell me to keep going. Let me know. Keep going. All right, keep going. All right, that's 2. We got 3. Keep going. We got 4. Am I not counting right? 5. Keep going. 6. We got a 6. Okay, keep going. 7. Keep going. All right, so we got a 7. All right, so there we go. Let's roll it. Let's roll it. So here we go. Before, when I opened this book, I had to do something, because the name that we're going to go to real quick, and I want to pull this up from memory, kind of some thoughts that I was having and a few other things. And I want you to know something mattered to this day when I tell you what we're going. It wasn't just for me, because I'm starting to learn we have to come together as a collective consciousness. And we want to think about the business that you never launched, the person that you were never called, the move that you never made, the book, the channel, the degree, the conversation with your father, where it is, I want you to hold all of this up, okay? And I want you to rerun the tape slowly. What actually happened in the days before you quit, but days before you gave up on the relationship, the day before, maybe the argument. I want all y'all to work with me here. And I want you to know, we're talking about a voice that got loud, right? It didn't, right as you get close, you're gonna feel it. Is the voice that got loud. What do you think, so to speak? I guess the question will, who do you think you are? You got to remember that. That comes up all the time. You embarrass yourself. You all remember these conversations. People like us don't do things like that. Y'all got to remember this. It's too late. You're too old. I've been told that before. Even in a scene, you're too old. You miss your window. So you got to think about the first person, the accent. And I want you to understand, and you got to perfectly aim at this nerve. You got to understand the fear, the urgency, the comparison, the lack. All 4 shells, expressing it, what I call the delivery. And you did what most any person would do with this. And remember, we signed for this. You believed it. you quit. And then here's what I call the crushless part of this. You spent years, and a lot of us have, charging that quit to your own account. And some people call it laziness. You know, we hear that all the time, or they call it fear of success. You remember, you hear that all the time. They call it, oh, I guess you didn't want it bad enough. You remember, have you ever heard that before? Right?
Mhm.
Haven't wanted it bad enough. And so I just want you to know you wasn't weak. You were forged. And the part about this is there's a difference. There is a legal difference, a moral difference, a cosmic different prosecutor when you start thinking about this. You were trying the wrong defendant. Remember I said about being the lawyer in this case, being the observer? When you start being hard on yourself, you were trying the wrong defendant, by the way. So right now, tonight, for what we're going to do, we're going to take that file of every quit, every spiral, every 3 a.m. thing that was going on, every season that you've been holding against yourself, and we're going to really reopen this thing because I need you to think about it. Not to excuse what it was or what it is or you or whatever, but the deliveries. We got to understand what was happening here, the forgeries, the counterfeit charges. Those things come off the record. You got to pull them off the record today. We're going to do that. And tonight, and again, this is not about motivational talk, people. It's not about motivation talk. That's just what happens when the real signature get compared to the fake one. See, when that happens in any court of law, and we talk a cosmic court right here, it collapses. It just goes away. And now you could be sitting there thinking, Roderick, yeah, this is beautiful, man, but there's one more, but that's just my framework. I'm just telling you, it's a one-person framework. But what I want you to understand is, and that's fair, it's completely fair. So let me show you or kind of describe to you the jar of what's happening here. So let me put that in my notes here, and then we're going to go. We're talking about this buried book that we were reading. And so in December 1945, in Upper Egypt, okay, a place called Nag Hammadi, which is what these call the Nag Hammadi scriptures, in the cliffs, in the desert, at the Nile. The Nile was off in the distance. It was a local farmer, and his name was Muhammad Ali Samad. And it's out by the cliffs where he was digging on the Sabbath, okay, when he was doing this, or Sabbath, or whatever it was. And they was looking for, they was doing what they call natural fertilizer. And that's it. That was the whole mission. A man, a mattock, whatever it was, some dirt, and his blade hit something that wasn't dirt. Now, I also started studying that just so happens in 1945, the world was at a brink. I started studying this in another book. And I started studying that whoever our divine spark of things is, and we're going to be talking about that all throughout the rest of the year, that it don't bring things up until it knows have you ever heard the student is ready, the teacher will appear? Mm-hmm. Same thing for the cosmic order of all of us. Obviously, at that time, something was going on, whether it was about the brink of war or whatever it is, that whatever the conscious awareness was made him dig that up. He didn't know it, but it sent him there. Mm-hmm. Because it needed whatever it was hidden that has been hidden to be revealed, to bring the total awareness and consciousness up over the years. Now, where we're going. You get what I'm saying? Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about it. But at that time in 1945, there was, I think, a lot of wars or something was going on. But 1942 was Pearl Harbor, right?
Yeah, World War II.
Yeah. So that's what was going on. So again, it was a sealed jar, a sealed clay jar, and it was about this tall. It was like close to a meter. It was pretty big. And I want you to sit in his sandals for a second. I want you to remember I always tell you empathy. Empathy is going to allow you to put yourself in someone's shoes but not walk in them. So put yourself in his sandals because it's dirty, whatever, I don't know. Because he's got a decision to make. In his world, where he came from, a sealed jar in the ground means one of two things: treasure or a fucking jinn. And y'all better understand what that is. They talk about it in these texts. Okay. We'll get to the jinn stuff. You probably know, y'all know what a jinn. Y'all heard of that? Okay. So he said he saw the jar and it was a treasure or a jinn. And the jinn, you don't want to reopen it. Okay. I'm just letting you know. Something was put away on purpose. Something that you may not want to let out. And he stands there, genuinely afraid to break it open. Then he thinks about gold, and gold wins, and he swings and cracks that booger open. But you could imagine if it was a jinn in there.
Oh, he'd have been in trouble.
He would have been in big trouble. But what is it that sends us to do stuff like that? How many times we done stuff and went out with somebody, done something, just no, you better not do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes you do it like, I'm sure glad I did. Like he did, right? So anyway, it was no gold, it was no spirit, it was books. 13 leather-bound books, codices, okay, written on papyrus. If you start looking at how that paper, he carried them home, and this part is true, and it hurt. Some of the pages ended up in the cooking fire. They said it. He didn't know what he had. So imagine what has been missing. His mother burnt pieces of them for kindling. She needed to start the fire. And pages that had waited 1,600 years in the dark was gone in a fucking breakfast flame.
Wow.
Yeah. But most of it survived. And when the scholars finally got a hold to what survived and translated it, they found text that has been deliberately buried, hidden in the ground for over 400 years because the material in them had been ordered destroyed by somebody. Somebody 16 centuries ago was supposed to burn these books, instead walked out the cliff, sealed them in a jar, and buried them for whatever came next. Think whoever that was.
Mm-hmm.
People, because you would know who is doing what they're doing today. If it was David Icke, wouldn't be talking about it. No one be talking about it if it wasn't for that discovery for the whole world.
The 40s was major with lots of discoveries. Roswell, Battle of Los Angeles, the Emerald Tablets were translated then. So, I mean, the 40s and early 50s was a major turnaround for.
Now, if you go back to the teaching of Thotham or thought, he was teaching some of this stuff too. So he kind of knew, what some of this was. But like I said, at this point, all this stuff was eliminated at some point when you start looking at what's going on. So you have to ask the question. I thought you would ask that same question because the whole thing, somebody wanted these pages gone, which means the first question, what is in them that had to disappear? And one of those books was called the Apocryphon. Am I pronouncing that? Apocryphon of.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So Apocryphon or whatever means.
Apocrypha?
Apocryphon.
Oh, the
like
Apocrypha text, yes.
Yeah, Apocryphon means hidden.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the secret book of John. There was 4 English translation in public. And of course, I've showed you the book here, and you can kind of look that up and pretty much that yourself. And in this hidden book, this book that somebody buried, and rather than burning it like they were supposed to, there was a passage describing a place in the human mind. And I want you to again listen to what it's called. I've said it before. It's called the Coptic, Coptic. Y'all make sure y'all write that down. The counterfeit spirit. They knew that something existed. Okay. And I need you to understand what happened to me the first time I read that. I was like, what? I had a name for this thing, right? I built it from scratch, from clues, from losing, from watching it behave in my own head on my desk, the counterfeit voice. And then when I start going through the books and stuff, and you start looking at it and you start thinking about it, the book had already named it. They already had a word for it. The counterfeit is an imitation running in the place of something real. We all have a counterfeit spirit, and it's there. and it's not your soul. And there's a lot of spirits can be living in one body.
Mhm.
You better believe that. A lot. And you just have to understand that the book doesn't name it, so to speak. It describes it. It actually describes this thing. It's a job. It has a job. It says the counterfeit spirit is put there to lead people astray, to weigh their soul down, to blind them, to drag them away from the truth it otherwise find. Y'all hear me? This thing was designed, the programming of this was designed to lead you away, to hold your soul down, to blind it, to drag it away from truth. And you got to understand, you got to listen to the operating manual of this thing. It deceives, it burdens, it distracts you from the search like it was doing me. Stop going there. You know, a lot of times, and you get what I'm saying. Somebody kept saying, name it, name it, name it, name it. They must be behind. So I'm just telling you, mine kept saying, stop investigating. 1600 years before that jar went into the ground. And tonight, you watching the thought that walked into my head that I was telling you, uninvited, and the description of it hadn't changed. The arrival, the forgery, the mission against me seeking, you seeking, and people, people we'll never meet in a language we will never speak to, caught the same intruder in their minds, described it, wrote it down, and somebody thought the information was too dangerous for us to know, and they buried it. So hear this part, and I need y'all to hear this because this is what this book is for tonight. I just want you to know. You never were crazy. You never were broken. You never was the only one, so to speak. You're the latest person in what I call an unbroken 1,600-year line of human beings who noticed that the voice wasn't theirs. And the only thing that you're missing was, again, the file, the jar, whatever you want to call it. But again, TK, if you get into our Patreon, I'm just putting this on the screen. We get a few people joining and they are being blessed with this information. Patreon.com/Truth versus Authority. We're going to go through all of this stuff. Because just as much as they hit it, you got to know we can't be saying all the true stuff on the outside of here. Whoever was dangerous enough that wanted this hidden, we can't sit here and be just giving everything out on the front side. They already know that there's going to be people going, I'm not joining no Patreon. They already know. They're putting it in your mind anyway. They already know people are not going to do it. So they're not fearing 100 of us learning truth or 200 of us learning or 30. But if it was the masses, there'll be a lot of people up here speaking that they're not going to let keep telling what they tell.
That's what happened with the Emerald Tablets, because a lot of people don't even think they exist, but a lot of major politicians, a lot of clergy, and some people even said, like the Beatles and a few other major groups, they learned the secret. That's how they became so big.
Yeah. And see, I know what the counterfeit voice is telling some of you right now. I know because mine tried to. It's saying, hey, that's an old religious text, or that doesn't prove anything. I want you to notice what I'm talking about. It's rushing you. It urges you about dismissing it. And it asks yourself why. I'm not asking you to believe in the book. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm asking you to notice the description matches in your head that we were just in your own head. And I want you to walk through 20 minutes ago. Remember, the book isn't your evidence. It's just your evidence of choice. It's what you're going to do. I just want you to know. And if you join the Patreon and you want to learn and go deeper, that's just up to you. So this brings me to my last question, and then we got a couple of more things we'll talk about, and I'll get you out of here. And I'm going to run right through this right now because it's important. Because I do promise you a 10-minute practice thing, and I'll get to that shortly. Actually, I'm getting ready to get to it in a minute for you. So I just want you to understand something, and I have why did the name breaks the grip. You just gotta. It's the psychics of this thing, the physics of what we're going to tell you about, which brings up to the last proof section that we're going to be doing because it's real, it's ancient, it's name. And why does naming it do anything? It's important. Why did and here's what I want you to see: the counterfeit voice has exactly one operating requirement. It doesn't need you to talk. It works fine on you. It's strong. It doesn't need you sad. It delivers on your good days. It only needs one thing, and it needs to be mistaken for you. And the whole thing is a con. Like I said before, every forgery on earth dies the same death. The moment the signature get a compared side by side to it, you can only spin a count only when you prove something. Cognitive dissonance was always true all my life, and then we found it's not true or not true, and we found it is true, and it's all over with. But some people can't go through cognitive dissonance, right? Not to fight, not to block, is you have to recognize it. I didn't say kill it, recognize it. We've been trained all this time, kill that. You got to kill that. You're fighting a wall, trying to sit here and kill something that will never get out of your head.
Or something that's already passed on. Or
Yeah.
dead.
I mean, how many gurus are teaching that right now? You have to recognize it. See, because anytime anybody conning you, whatever they're doing, when you recognize, we just said that today. Somebody came here, was trying to play me for something. And what did you say?
I say two things, but one thing that I think what I told you is that you can't bullshit a bullshitter.
Right, because you recognize it. You get what I'm saying? You have to recognize. I didn't have to. I could have fought against him. I mean, no, I just recognized it and like, all right, and let him just blow off. Yeah, you got to recognize it. And when you do that, you recognize what's in your sight and what that is hidden from you. It all become plain. That's the whole point. It all become plain. And the name is the recognition. Every time you say the counterfeit voice, that's the counterfeit voice. I want you to start doing that. Name it. This is important. I'm giving it to you. Name it. Every time you hey, that's a counterfeit voice. You're pulling two signatures apart in real time. It cannot survive the comparison, and it doesn't get argued with. It gets identified out. The brain kicks it back out because you are now programming your brain. When you recognize the counterfeit voice, it's just going to kick it out. Watch what happens. It'll just boop, immediately. It's not going. You're not going to tell it to stay there because you're thinking it's you. Or imagine. I don't bet I even get to that. I'm not even going to get to that. So the only thing left now is, like I said, I promise you that I'm going to is giving you this little teaching a little bit. So everything was a setup. I just want you to know. And two things I exactly promised. I promised you a 5-second test that you can run in a moment when anytime these thoughts arrive, the mid-conversation, mid-roll, whenever, in 3 a.m. in the morning, a 10-minute practice that in a way you can do this. All of this is, let me just get to it right now. And so I want you to know, next time one of these thoughts arrive, and one probably will before even this stream ends here in a few moments, I want you to check these three things. It's 5 seconds total. Okay. Let me know if y'all ready. Did I walk to that thought, or did it walk to me? That's the first thing I want you to know. That's the first thing. Y'all follow me on this. Whenever that thing hit, did I walk to it or did it walk to me? I'm using more of a language that we all can go with. Because you got to know the difference. We're speaking on the difference, period. Because you remember thoughts, when you build these thoughts, it have like a chain. And of course, this is what leads you up to all of this. Okay, thoughts are sent, and when they're sent, they arrive complete. There is no chain. They're somehow it just comes already prepackaged with emotion and everything. So the first check that you want to do is study the claim itself. So that's the first thing. Yeah. So that's the very first thing that you want to do. How you doing? Yeah. Well, they can. Hey, talk to her, please. She can come talk to you. All right. So one of the things that you have to understand: did it walk to you?
Hey, how you doing?
Make sure you
Right.
understand.
My name is
Okay.
TK.
Make sure
Okay,
TK get a number. You know, here.
Okay. Okay, so you
That
already
way I
got
can
one.
add
Good
her to
deal,
the
good
text
deal.
list.
Mhm.
All right. So the other thing is, what shelf is this from? This is really important.
Mhm.
And when I tell about the four shelves, you got to remember: is it coming from fear? Is it coming from urgency? Is it coming from comparison? Is it coming from lack? Those four shelves that we have to know where this is coming from.
If we can
Okay.
step around this way, if you don't
You got to
mind,
remember that.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Excuse me. How you
And
doing?
is that thought rushing me? You got to remember, some of these things does that. Is it measuring me against somebody? Is it telling me I'm missing something, running out of
And what was your
time,
name again?
or about to be exposed? The
Okay,
real
that's what
thing
you
never
said.
rushes you. Your real
So
self
SSU.
don't do that to you.
Just
Peace
spell it for me.
doesn't
Yeah,
have a
spell it for me.
countdown.
Oh yeah, here, go for it.
You know, just think about it. Peace ain't got no countdown clock. It just doesn't. So if it's talking about act now, decide now, panic now, second flash, because there's times things be like, you need to buy that. If you buy that, then it'll make
Oh,
everything
yes, ma'am.
complete.
Gotcha,
Oh
gotcha.
man,
Okay,
that was
and
a
then you
running
said you were
system.
doing poetry.
Okay.
Well, I used to do.
The next
Well,
one
I did it
is
for 25
the
years.
the next one is what does it want
Okay, so you're a
stopped?
seasoned poet.
Remember I told you what happened to me?
Absolutely,
Yes,
100%.
ma'am. Okay.
This is the
Worked
deepest
on
one, by the way,
Can you put
Ricky
that down?
because it's one of the
Big
things
City
that the
Talent.
Berry
Mhm.
book gave us. The counterfeit mission is against your search. That was what it was for me. So if I obeyed
all
that
the
thought,
things.
what
So it'll look
stops?
like this on
I wouldn't even be
Facebook.
here training now.
This on Instagram.
Okay,
Do I
good deal,
stop
good deal.
reaching
I'll be able
out?
to
Do I
read
stop
that.
building? Do I
Good
stop
deal.
looking? Do I stop
But no,
trying?
you were
Do I
just saying
stop
that you had
asking?
25 years of
Y'all get me?
poetry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You get me what I'm
Okay,
saying?
seasoned poet.
Roderick, I truly want to thank you for your wisdom.
And
I'm
you said
recognizing
you did
symbols.
some work
I'm
with Ricky
slowly
Smiley,
waking
you
up my
said?
mother to your wisdom.
Ricky
Keep it
Smiley's
going.
Big City
Appreciate it.
Talent.
Thank you.
I've opened for Curtis
Thank you.
Blow,
And if you can get a
D-Ray,
chance to come in our
um,
Patreon and
Deion
then just
Cole.
share some of the stuff, share your username with your mother or whatever, you know what I'm
And you
saying?
said you
Let her come in
teach
there
at
and
the
get some of that
detention
stuff
No,
too. It'll
in
be
the
so
summer,
divine,
I teach
you
the
know.
kids back
Just
because I started open mic
sign up
again.
and give her access
So
too. You know, just come in there.
we
Both
go
of
into
y'all
the
learn at the
detention
same
center and
time,
teach
whatever
the
you want to do.
creative
Download the
expression
documents, give it
and
to her,
healing
you
through the
know,
arts
whatever.
program. I wrote the curriculum for that because my master's is in training
So
and development.
the flag, I
And
remember we
to
talked about the
walk
flag in
through
5 seconds, and the beautiful part, and you don't have to do
That
anything
is
at the test. We
beautiful.
just got to remember, no blocking, the whole 9 yards. That is what we
I
consider
used to do
the
podcasts for 5
counterfeit
years called
voice.
The Local Source,
And that's the whole
but
response.
I
You
do
name
need
it,
to
you let it
start
stand
it
there,
back
you
up. And I was gonna
identify
do
it,
on my own,
and then you
but
go back wherever you were
maybe we
doing. And
could
because
film it at that
you
kitchen back
know,
there. I was
we
like, I
talking
want
about the physics of it
it to
now.
be like a
It don't need to be mistaken now. You know what I'm saying? You refused it. The signature is clear. It didn't clear, so to speak. You're not going to sign for it. Watch what happens. We talk about
And
the
then
forger. Check it out. The whole 9 yards. And
I see that you
we
got
do
both
that.
flyers. I saw that you had the poetry flyer.
Oh,
and
she
then
said
you have
TK
the
got a
classes
mic
for the
on. They
YouTube
can all hear
podcast
that
too.
conversation.
So yeah, that's all one
Oh,
entity
you
right
took it
there.
off
And
of her?
Oh,
You
they're
told.
classes for one.
Oh,
yeah, that okay. So
text her.
Okay.
Yeah, well, let's
he's
see.
doing his podcast for live
Well,
show.
how
So
do we?
basically, this one,
Y'all hold
the
on a
live
minute.
show is Roderick
She in the
Martin.
bathroom. Just
So
tell her
this
it's
one
on.
right here,
You
it's
just
where you go to, and it'll give you the breakdown on what he can do and teach in the roles
they get ready.
of
They get ready to
YouTube.
stop it
But
right
it
there,
sounds
y'all.
like
Hang
you're
on.
kind of fluid with it. But I mean,
I don't know how to turn the mic off.
oh, I forgot I had it. There you go.
All right. They turn it off? Oh, okay. All right, we got the mic back, y'all. Yeah, texting her. She ain't gonna open that phone. Everybody here like tell her to turn it off. What they hear some other stuff in there, background noises, and what? I hope they ain't in there peeing or something. They turned it off, y'all. Okay. All right. So, oh, they were saying they couldn't hear anything. All right. So anyway, remember we named it. I don't know what y'all couldn't hear. It's all good now. That's cool. We will go from that. It's all clear now. That's cool. That's funny. All right. So anyway, y'all practice that right now. I'm going to give you the 10-minute practice. We can do that. Actually, I better do that in the Patreon because it's pretty deep. Yeah. So the 10-minute practice, I will do a Patreon in about an hour. I'll just probably go live and tell y'all about it. So if y'all watch this, go in there because for the sake of time, we're almost a couple of hours here. But before I let you go, one of the things I want you to know tonight, and I'm not going to tie it all up, I'm just going to tell you what's going on. So when you walk into that feeling that you never said out loud, and some of that runs through the head that doesn't feel like yours, I want you to understand, just close it. It's not your feeling, just watch it on your behalf, okay? You walk in carrying what we call the losses, the lawyer, the wall, the noise. It charges you on your own account of weakness. You got to remember that. And those cases are closed. Remember, we talked about it a while ago. Go back over this video, watch this video again tonight, reopen it, dismiss it, and understand you never were weak. You never couldn't be this. You never was good enough. It was all forged. Okay. It was all forged from there. Okay. And just remember that across the board. And also just understand the difference between those two worlds or words is the difference between what I call a prisoner and a man who just found out evidence that he was fake. This is how you should be feeling right now. And walk as if the only person on earth this happens to. A lot of people feel that way, but it's a done deal. It's not you anymore. This is what we're talking about. So, and again, we talked about the name and whatever you talk about that operates and everything else. You just have to kind of take that feeling of what you're doing. Okay. So again, at the end of this, I want you to take the one question again that I've been talking about all tonight, what we're talking about and what if I told you or how we proved it. And that again, what if your thoughts didn't come from you? Where did they come from? We was talking about that as well. And I think that's very important. And so I just want to be straight about it. I wanted to tell you it wasn't a cliffhanger game that I was doing, just storytelling. Because again, it's not that you wasn't ready everything. I was just kind of respecting, trying to I did the best I could to structure everything, the best I wanted to tell you the story about those books, the jars, and but here's the last thing I want to leave you with, and I need you to hear about the things that happens. An old teacher in one of these buried books, he was saying he laid out the road that we just stepped on to tonight. It was 4 stages. Remember I talked about it. He said, seek until you find. And when you find, you'll be troubled. When you're troubled, you'll be astonished. And I want to read that again to leave you with this, okay? In here, one of the teachers said, you want to seek until you find, and when you find, you'll be troubled. Most people stop when they find something that troubles them or they don't want to go further. I remember David Icke telling me once, and I was saying at one point I didn't like to talk about religion. And he said, you can't have no-go areas seeking the truth. It's impossible. How are you going to seek the truth and there's other places you don't want to go and read and talk about? There's a lot of people like that. But when that troubles you, and what they're saying is, when you're troubled, you will then later be astonished. So you got to go there.
An awakening.
It's going to be an awakening. It's gonna be awakening. Okay, at this point. So we want to think about that as well. This is why and some of you, and when I say this, 10 days into that counter, you're going to hit a trouble stage and then you're going to think about quitting. You're going to hit a few walls. This is what the 33 parallel that I put on the screen for you on our Patreon is all about. It's not where the answers are kept. I just want to be fair with people. You watch me hand out everything now, some of this stuff for free, and I'll put some of this other stuff up if we wasn't by time, and I'm going to continue to do that. It's where we walk the stages together. See, when we go in there and all of us be talking to each other a little plainly and off the script and openly, it's a great place. This is where you bring the counter, and this is where everything is. Okay. This is where, if you think about it, we talk about Kabbalion and different stuff. These sessions go deeper. What we're talking about today, we go deeper, and it's a little more intimate, and where we're going with that. All right. So I just want you to understand, before you go to sleep tonight, watch that ding on door and see what happens. And when it comes, even when we hang up here, when that thought comes, it heard everything we said tonight. I want you to know it already heard it. And that's not like, and I'm just telling you, it already heard it, people. And this is what I'm saying. Just how we're going to put this together, y'all. And I love each and every one of you. Hopefully you got something out of this. I know you did. You see, I took a lot of my little notes writing this out today. I have bad handwriting, so it takes me a little different to write stuff out. And if you got some from it, that's good. You can, like the video. If you need to go back and watch it again to get those 4 doorways, you need at least go back and get that. Watch that a few times. And like I said, in Patreon, we'll do some other stuff. And forgive me, I'll try to shorten it the next time. We're going to be doing this all week. We'll be back here at 5 o'clock tomorrow, 5:30. Is 5 o'clock or 5:30, y'all think? What do y'all think? 5 o'clock. I've been trying to do 5:30 just to kind of see which one. So is 5 o'clock better? We was testing 5:30 all last week, and then we have been doing 5 just to kind of see, giving people time to get off work, get in the car. But I think the 5 o'clock hour, we might need to move back to the 5 o'clock hour. Okay. And y'all give a shout out to MG for joining our Patreon. Appreciate it. Welcome home is the word I'm going to use. Welcome home. Stick to the 5. Yeah. Okay. So tomorrow we'll be at 5, and we'll continue at 5. And here's the thing here, patreon.com/Truth versus Authority. And make sure y'all get in there. I will hop in there a little later, and if you miss it, it'll record the live, and then you can just kind of watch it anytime you come. And anyone you join, you'll go back and see all the stuff that we've already talked about. So you're not missing. You can go ahead. Some stuff we may delete, but if you go back and join, you'll still be able to see the things that we are doing. So again, I love each and every one of you. If you didn't hear the word, I love you over the weekend. I love you. If you're in Dallas, make sure you, August the 1st, we're going to have our first annual get together community. And, I mentioned it earlier, and then the Church in the Cliff, reproductive justice. We're going to be there, and we have the barbecue, and I'll put the thing up on the site for you to register. It's free, and then there will be donations. So if you want to donate to where we get some food for everybody or something, you can. But if you can't, don't worry about it. If you know you can and you don't, worry about it. I just want you to know. Let yourself convict you, and look on the outside and ask yourself, why am I blessed and I won't help these people? Help me and help us. And so that's going to be the observer. All right, so I'll see y'all tomorrow, 5 o'clock. We're going to do it at 5 o'clock. So let's go. Oh, and by the way, I think we talked about it. Did we talk about our sponsor? Where is it? Make Its Own? I don't have my stuff. Well, anyway, Shea Butter Baby. Y'all get the Shea Butter, Charmin Malas. We'll make sure we do that. And I have my Mala pose over there. Don't worry. We'll talk about it some more. We having poetry night, too. It went really well. I'll put some up tomorrow, show y'all some of the people that we had a poetry last week. It was a beautiful thing. TK did an awesome job. I felt really calm and all those things. She says, I'm bringing the black eyed peas. Okay. Now you bringing one crab leg, lady. You know what I'm saying? From Maine, where you get yours from. Just break one of the legs. Okay. All right. So Make Its Own. Y'all make sure her link is in the description. Y'all call Judith to get your malas. That's in there as well. And we will see you all tomorrow. Love y'all.